So when you're feeling lucky, what do? Well, most people might buy a lottery ticket. But a man named Jason Williams wasn't like most people. While others picked up a ticket for fun, Jason saw the lottery as a challenge, almost like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Known by his nickname as the Joker, Jason wasn't just another player. He was playing with a purpose and was playing to win, and he had to figure out how to do it. So it started a few years ago when Jason began studying the odds of winning the lottery. He wasn't just interested in buying a few tickets and hoping for luck. He wanted to beat the system, but he noticed that while at most people bought a few tickets here and there, the odds of winning were still incredibly low, no matter how many tickets you had. But Jason's mind worked differently. He realized that if he could buy enough tickets, he could increase his chances so much that he could almost guarantee a win. But of course, buying that many tickets would cost a fortune. But Jason wasn't afraid of the challenge. He came up with a plan. He would use couriers. And these couriers were people who could buy lottery tickets on behalf of other people. But the issue was that the Texas lottery didn't regulate how many tickets one courier could buy, and they didn't keep a close eye on where or how these tickets were being purchased. This was the loophole that Jason saw. So what he did was he created a team called Rook TX, and he recruited others to help him buy large amounts of tickets. The key was the couriers. They would buy tickets for Jason, but they would also buy tickets in different cities and countries to make it harder for anyone to trace the purchase back to him. With this strategy, Jason wasn't just buying a few hundred tickets. He was buying millions. By 2023, Jason and his team had purchased 25.8 million tickets for a single Lotto Texas draw. At the time, the jackpot was $95 million. Jason knew with that many tickets, they would hit the right combination of numbers. They were guaranteed to win. It wasn't a matter of luck anymore. It was just straight math. So basically, he bought so many tickets that he had every single combination of numbers, meaning a guaranteed win. So the night of the drawing, everything went as planned. When the results came in, Jason's syndicate had won the jackpot. The Texas Lottery Commission was stunned. They had never imagined that somebody could buy so many tickets, flooding the system to a guaranteed win. But that's exactly what Jason had done. He had used the system to his advantage and won a bag. However, the victory didn't just belong to Jason and his team. It became a public spectacle. News outlets picked the story up, and soon everybody knew that the syndicate had beaten the lottery. People were shocked. How could someone manipulate the system like that? The Texas Lottery had never considered that somebody could buy in bulk in such huge quantities. They hadn't thought about the possibility of somebody like Jason, who were willing to spend millions of dollars just to win. The Texas Lottery Commission had no choice but to investigate. They discovered that the couriers were buying large numbers of tickets for individuals, and they weren't regulated or monitored closely enough. No one had expected this loophole to be exploited in such a massive way. Jason's win was starting to feel like less a victory and more like a warning. The system was broken. The more the investigation went on, the more it became clear that the Texas Lottery had been too lax with its rules. Jason figured out how to play the system, and now everyone knows how. Nobody can sit here and tell me that if they had $25 million to spend, that they would not spend it on that many tickets to go win $100 million guaranteed. As the news spread, public outrage grew. People started asking, how fair is the lottery if someone can buy 1 million tickets to guarantee a win? Which is a valid point, because that would mean only people that can afford that many tickets will just always be able to win, and people that can only buy 5 tickets will never win. Jason's victory was no longer just about the money. It was about fairness. Could anyone, if they had the money, do the same thing like Jason had done? It felt like the whole lottery was rigged. Like playing the lottery wasn't based on luck at all, but just how much money you could spend. The Texas Lottery Commission quickly realized that they had to make changes. They could let couriers buy so many tickets without regulation. They needed to enforce stricter rules to make sure this wouldn't happen again. But at this point, Jason had won his jackpot. The money was his, and no one could take it back. He won it. And it wasn't illegal. It just maybe was a little unethical, but it was perfectly legal. For Jason, though, the win wasn't just about the $95 million. It was about proving a point. He had shown the world how easy it was to manipulate the system. While many people were upset how Jason used the loophole, he didn't care. He had done what he set out to do. The system had been built with too many gaps, and he found those gaps and exploited them. He basically said, don't hate the player, hate the game. Meanwhile, the Texas Lottery had to face the music. They were under pressure to fix the flaws in their system and make sure something like this wouldn't happen again. They began working on new rules and regulations for couriers, and lawmakers even started to get involved with this. This whole incident was forcing them to rethink how the entire lottery was going to work and operate. His success left a lasting impact. It was about how the lottery system was structured, and he found the loophole. The Joker had used the system's own weakness against it, and now the world had to figure out how to fix those weaknesses. For Jason, it wasn't luck. It was about knowing the system well enough to beat it, and that's exactly what he did. So, hearing all of this, why don't I do this? Why don't you do this? Well, as for the future, the Texas lottery was forced to change. They introduced new regulations to stop couriers from buying tickets in such large quantities. I mean, this man literally made them rethink how the entire Texas lottery is going to be moving forward. The Texas lottery changed their rules, but as far as I'm researching, I can't find any other state that followed, which makes me wonder, why don't we all just follow in Jason's footsteps until they change the entire US lottery? Or maybe we try it with sports betting and see if we can exploit those apps. Or maybe in the music industry, we can figure out how these rappers are really making their money, and then we can follow in their footsteps. If that interests you, then click the video right here on the screen about how rappers actually make their money. I appreciate y'all for watching. My name is Guappo. Click the subscribe, turn on the notifications, do all that, and comment down below what other videos you want to see, or if you got any thoughts on this video. Stream Guappo. Peace out, y'all.